it's different in a lot of ways. It's much more rugged. It's much more designed for being used outside. It does run a full Windows 7 load. It's got both touch and stylus, which helps if you're using like an older application that has mouse-sized targets.
So, a lot of people see a Slate or see an iPad and they think, gee, I can play Angry Birds with it. What are some of the things that your customers do with this that requires it to be rugged?
Well, you can think about just about any place where somebody's walking and working. So it could be in a hospital when a nurse is moving around. It could be in retail where you may have a sales associate walking the floor and taking orders, or inspection or construction.
So you can do real work on this. I mean,
sure.
Some people have apps that can sort of do a task or two on a media slate, but you can run anything on it. People run, what kind of apps are they running?
Well, that's the big advantage, is that they're taking the applications that they're using inside the building, they're putting them onto this tablet without making any modifications, and so they're mobilizing their data and they're taking it in the field. So it can be inspection applications, it can be electronic medical records applications, it can be fire response reports. Almost anything that you're doing on a desktop, you can run on the system.
So speaking of iPad and sites like that, a lot of people have things that look kind of like this in their home.
Sure.
2 years ago, that wasn't the case.
Right.
How's that affecting how people perceive your product?
It's really been a boost for us. I think both the growth of tablets and even going further back, smartphones, people are a lot more comfortable touching the display as their primary interface instead of using a keyboard. I think as we go forward, we're going to see more and more people go, I need a keyboard sometimes, but I don't need it all the time. So the consumer tablet has really helped us.
And that's kind of opposite of what some of us thought when the iPad was launched. A lot of us thought that these things would go the way of the dinosaur.
Sure.
But from what I'm hearing in the industry is you're selling quite a few of these things. So.
Yeah, and I think what people are finding out once they get comfortable with the form factor, there are other ways that they would like to use it, but maybe their consumer tablet isn't the right one. It may not have a screen that you can use outdoors, or it may overheat, or it may not have a vehicle mount. So it's sort of an entry into the category, just like a lot of us have a different kind of PC that we would use at home versus what we'd use at work.
And this is mil spec, correct? I mean,
yes, mil standard 810G, which allows it to be dropped in moisture and dust and all those things.
So, I mean, and some of your customers do mission critical work. You mentioned medical staff and whatnot.
Sure.
You can't worry about the computer not working.
Right. Almost in all cases, they're being used for some kind of line of business application. It may be for mobile point of care for healthcare. It may be retail generation, in a store, or completing construction. So yeah, they got to have something that they can rely on. They can't be replacing them, a couple times a week.
In my college days, I used to work at a construction site, and if you slow down, you're losing a ton of money if you're shutting down the job site because you don't have the plans on where something goes and whatnot.
And so we've got real good data that actually shows the opposite. By using this technology, by taking it in the field, they're taking weeks out of their construction process.
Well, thank you very much, Mike, and we look forward to seeing the next iteration of this device.
Thanks. Take care.